Hello, Mr. Knorr here, and welcome to day one of our Spike Prime Lego programming camp. Today's mission is to design, test, and build a Lego hopper that moves forward without the use of wheels. So hoppers are a type of vehicle that have forward movement without the use of your traditional wheel. So they use rotating arms or legs or other mechanical motion to achieve forward movement. Some things that you'll need to consider today, and you guys can read this in more detail, is about balance and weight distribution, friction, and then whether your motors are going to be synchronized or have some kind of asynchronous motor rotation as they're moving forward, because that does make a difference, whether they're rotating at the same time or whether they kind of alternate. So thinking about different types of ways that we swim, and some of them are synchronous and some of them are asynchronous. So this is part of the Spike Prime Lego Education app. This is one of their lessons. And so what you're going to do is open up the Spike Prime app. You might need to download the Invention Squad unit. But if you open the app and you go to units and go to Invention Squad and then go to Hopper Race. And once you're on the Hopper Race, if you follow the little lesson overview, it's going to give you the building instructions, it's going to give you the code, and it's going to give you kind of some overall questions to think of. If you need the building instructions, because for whatever reason the app doesn't let you open them, you can click on them right here. And then when you're programming the hopper, we are using the Spike Prime visual programming environment. We're not going to use Python, not for this camp. So we're going to be using the Scratch block format. So if you've used Scratch before, then you're going to be at an advantage, because you'll understand the programming environment a little bit more. But if you haven't used Scratch, it's pretty easy. You've got your code blocks on the left, you have your program here in the workspace in the middle, and then you have your play button over here. And it gives you the code for the first hopper. And so if you just hit the play button with this after you've connected your hopper, then it will go forward for 10 seconds. And depending on whether you've set up your motors to be synchronous or asynchronous, you'll just have to see how far it can travel. And so today you're going to be messing a little bit with the code as well as the setup for the hopper. So here are some ideas of what you can do to change the code. Some extensions like adding a sound or a visual light to make it say go. You could even record your voice to make it say go if you want to use some of the sound blocks. Changing the move direction, going forward or backward. So there's some different things that you can do in here just to kind of play around with the programming environment and learn a little bit more about how to program the hopper. If you need help, this is a YouTube video right here. It should be ready to go. I had to re-upload it, so it's processing right now, but by the time you guys are watching this, it should be good to go. And this will give you a quick overview of the Spike Prime coding environment and the hopper code. All right, and then so once you've kind of gotten your hopper going and you've tested it, now we can establish one of our baselines just to see how far this first hopper goes. So, maybe give a point A to point B, or testing accuracy. Does it move in a straight line? Consistency, does it always travel to the same place each time, or is it all over the place? And then testing it on different environments to see how effective it is. Maybe it performs better on carpet, or maybe it performs better on a smooth surface like tile or a tabletop. All right. And then the next part, after you've tested your hopper, would be to build the second. Now this is actually a grass hopper, how fitting, but you will need to take apart the first hopper in order to build the second one. That's why it's important to kind of record some of our testing observations so that we can remember what the first hopper did, and then we can build our second hopper. So build this one. You're going to need the building instructions. They're right here. They're not in the app, or at least I don't believe they're anywhere in the app. So follow these building instructions here, and then the programming should be the same if you plug them into motors E and F in the back, which I believe the building instructions tell you to do so, and then you could just run the hopper program again and see what happens. All right, so then once you have your second hopper, repeat the tests and then compare to see, you know, did one perform better than the other, and then maybe an overall summary or conclusion on which one is a better hopper. Although they're going to be, they're mechanically different, and so they're going to perform different on these, and one might be more consistent than the other, but one might be faster traveling than the other. All right, and then the last part is our extension. So if you are feeling like you need an extra challenge, then we can take what we've learned about forward movement using a non-wheeled vehicle, and you can see if you can either modify one of the hoppers that we've already built or build your own. And I've provided some examples from YouTube that have some different walkers and hoppers that achieve forward movement without the use of wheels. So we've got this hyper hopper here, or this walker, which has the legs shuffle forward. And as always, some of these are not possible with the Legos in your kit. Some of you might need extra Technic pieces that do not come in your kit, but just know that I believe this one here, this picture, everything in here was made using here. I do not have building instructions for this one, just this picture, but maybe you would be able to use the picture and figure it out. I don't know what kit was used to make this, but it sort of looked like all the pieces would have come from just your basic Spike Prime kit. All right, and then there's a couple more examples. This walker rickshaw, you do have all the parts to build this one. You might be able to build this one too, like a 2-footed walker, and then some walking droids here. So just some extra things that you could try or just watch, just to kind of get an idea of different ways that we can achieve forward movement without the use of wheels. All right, with every day, we ask you to take pictures. It's even better if you take videos and tell us about your creations, but at least take some pictures and share those with us by clicking next, going to the next page and uploading pictures and videos from your creations. All right, as always, I hope you have a wonderful time today and have fun.